and they would live with them and train them and stuff like that. Based on what I saw, it's a big culture shock because they didn't even know what a jumping jack was. So watching them do jumping jacks was kind of entertaining because they were, uncoordinated. And you can tell a lot of them were just doing it just for a job, like the Iraqi police. Like, as you can see now, where ISIS is taking over, a lot of those people are by the Iraqi army, and police are just fleeing. Because honestly, they just took over a job. They weren't really expecting to be fighting. Some were very patriotic, some were very tough. And I met a few of them, and they were very patriotic for the country, and they wanted a better country for themselves. Same for my interpreter. Iraqi, loved his country, he just wanted to help out. He was always paranoid, though. He didn't want people to see his face, Iraqis to see his face, because he was afraid if he got captured, But, yeah.
Now, for your interpreter, do you think that it's good to, I'm sorry. For your interpreter, was he born in Iraq?
He was born in Iraq. He was an Iraqi citizen. He stayed in Iraq, so he was there for pretty much the whole war. So when he was hired by the U.S. military, so whenever we would leave and another unit take over, he would become their interpreter. So he never went back he never came to the U.S. As far as I know, I don't know what's going on with him now, but yeah, he was always there.
So he was a part of the military as a personnel.
I would say he wasn't in the military, our military. He was like maybe a contractor.
A contractor.
But there's different, there's interpreters that come from the United States or something like that are contracted to make 6 figures for coming over. He was an Iraqi citizen, so he gets paid based on that. Okay. So he has no military training, he didn't carry no weapon, nothing like that. Following other regulations. But he spoke very good English and very educated.
Did you notice anybody that was kind of skeptical in your platoon of the interpreters, including him?
I don't think for my Iraq deployment, we all pretty much got along with him. He was very cool, and we saw that he loved Americans, and he was doing what he could to make his country better. So as far as my platoon and me personally, I never thought he may betray us or anything like that. I trusted him with my life the whole time. So
it's amazing.
Yeah.
I want to transition into how you felt during those months in Iraq. How much equipment would you carry, and how was it? How was it? Just would you travel for days within the cities in Iraq, or was it?
It depended on the mission. As Quick Reaction Force, we were on call 24/7. So some days we'll be out all day doing different calls, different missions. And then there would be a few days where we were doing nothing. There was nothing going on. We were just sitting around, training. But I would say we wouldn't be out for more than 48 hours in Iraq, at least my platoon. I know other platoons that were doing road patrols and stuff like that were out for weeks at a time. But my Afghanistan deployment, I was out all the time. But Iraq was more go out, do your mission, come back to base kind of thing.
So while doing that, was there ever a situation where just chaos consumed?
In Iraq, luckily, we never got hit or anything like that. My platoon never got hit. There was faulty wiring. There was an IED supposed to go off and didn't go off on us. But as far as chaos, just keeping the crowd away from, there was one time where we were blowing up an IED and this lady and her child were walking, somehow got past our perimeter. We're going close to the area. There was a count off, and me and a Marine went out to stop her, pushed her, got her back, and had to hide behind a wall as the explosion went off. But chaos. Like I said, the fighting in 2007, 2008 wasn't as high in the area. I would say a year before that, my battalion was there during Operation Matador, which was a huge operation where they cleared that city and of insurgents and everything. Seemed like there was only a few insurgents that were laying IEDs all the time, and we had one guy get shot by sniper fire. But besides that, there wasn't, and they weren't really good IED layers, I would say, because they were attacking mainly Iraqi police and Iraqi army and try to destabilize their government and stuff like that. So they were their main targets for the most part.
How was it interacting with the locals in Iraq?
A lot of them, they said they loved us being there and thank you for everything. Some didn't want us there, you can tell. But there was that language barrier, so trying to communicate, especially with the Iraqi police, I would even find myself trying to speak Spanish to them because I would get so frustrated. I'll speak English and then they don't understand me, and I would just throw Spanish and then realize they don't understand what I'm saying. But it was weird. We were able to have conversations through hand gestures, and I would know a few Iraqi Arabic words, and they would know a few English words, and we'd get through the conversation somehow. But yeah, they were very, very poor seeing the culture over there. You can tell the city has been destroyed, the lives have been changed. You got kids growing up in this environment. Like I said, when they're attacking their own people over there. So an ID went out. There was a kid there that was injured and everything that we had to get through here. So yeah, it was sad seeing that. I would if that was my country. Just my country being destroyed and being attacked by insurgents, and you got to deal with the Americans also. You can tell they were frustrated too, because when we drove down the road, they had to pull over, open up their hood, their doors, everything to show they had no IDs. So by the time we passed, towards the end of deployment, the last month, we started letting them drive past us, which we were all against because that's a risk of a vehicle-borne IED going off. But yeah, I guess that's frustrating too, knowing that if you're doing something, let's say they're trying to get to work, they got to pull over, wait till a convoy comes, or if we wanted to, thought they were suspicious, we can search the vehicle and stuff like that, which I can understand, why they'd be frustrated about that, but that was our job to make sure, security was in place.
It's interesting how you bring up that when you got frustrated, you start speaking Spanish to him. Mm-hmm. Do you think that speaking Spanish was actually praised by some of the people in Iraq because you could speak another language other than English?
I don't think they realized that I was speaking in a different language. I think they just had that look like, I don't know what you're saying kind of thing still. So, yeah, I don't think they even realized it.
And so can you explain how the town looked and how the people acted, even though there was a lot of trash around? Can you explain the environment?
Yeah, so our base was out in the middle of the desert. So it was very sandy, just like you see in the movie, just sand everywhere. Sandstorms, all the time. But we were close to Husaybah, a major city on the Syrian border. And so that's where we would drive out there sometimes and go check out the city when there was IEDs out there. It looked like people pretty much were carrying on with their lives there. Markets busy, full of people on the streets, kids playing soccer on the streets. It's when you didn't see them that there was a concern. If you didn't see the kids out there, you didn't see people on the streets, you would be suspicious that something might be happening and there might be an IED out there. But yeah, kids played with whatever they can get their hands on out there, so they try to get in. Or they used to always just chase after us and try to get candy or something from us or some kind of gift. They always say, Mister, give me. So they just wanted us to give them something, which we had to stop doing because it was a hazard, because we were doing patrol and the kids would come up, start grabbing your gear, or you're trying to do your mission.